Well, if we look at the basic question we asked, which was, does the copyright framework protect experiential forms of music and dance? The straight answer is when they're fixed, in other words, when they're recorded in some way, whether on video or sound recording, then yes, they are protected by copyright. But that actually misses an awful lot of what we have discovered and uncovered during the course of our research. One of the important bits is that much of what our interviewees actually did in the music and dance genres was before copyright. In other words, for our interviewees, what was really important was the process of creation. And the copyright framework misses this altogether because the copyright framework fixes and then protects what is fixed.
Well, I think the predominant way of thinking about copyright is that it has an economic dimension. And one of the interesting things that's come out of this study is just how few of the people we talk to are really touched by copyright. They seem to be constructed to address the success of the very, very few and miss out dealing with the problems of survival of the vast majority. We did, over a series of months, really, first of all, have a focus group particularly focused on dance, which was extremely revealing, and then we had a series of interviews with musicians and then other people in the creative industry. And then we had a further wave, actually, as we realized that we were going to make a documentary and we had to actually collect more material.
Britain's much vaunted cultural creativity actually depends on a huge hinterland of struggling talent. While the focus in public debate is overwhelmingly on celebrity and stardom, on awards and wealth, the hard road to success, or for the vast majority simply ensuring artistic and personal survival, is generally ignored.
The copyright of dance is almost not a subject that has been discussed in great depth in the past. Dance notation itself is a useful tool and it does work. It's just that because of its complex nature, only a few experts are able to read and write in the notation system. In that sense, notation has got no value as a means of communication like music notation scores are, and a script, a play is accessible to the actor. And therefore, the dancer has to now rely on other tools, recording tools, in order to communicate ideas about dance. In the United States, where they have a registration system in order to benefit from copyright claiming statutory damages, and the registry have accepted a notebook with stick figures and instructions from the choreographer as a record of the dance. And also because with the coming of MTV and YouTube, dance is now being disseminated more widely and reaching a much wider audience because it is now recorded in tangible form. And therefore the communication with regard to dance has changed dramatically. So dance is no more the ephemeral art form that it was in the last century.
I got involved with Beyond Text because of my band Six Day Riot, going into the details of copyright control, and also running a creative business as well. Really with the kind of music, or how I work in music, once you've recorded something, it's got copyright control. I don't do anything other than record my music and keep a date file of when it was recorded. You can then send it to PRS, which Performance Rights Society, and you can also register it with PPL, which is the performers on the recording, so that they get recognition for performing on the track. The internet, you've obviously got access to so many more people, and so many more people have access to you, and the negatives are, which all bands, I think, and musicians are facing, are the free downloads and the fact that it's near impossible to keep control of people downloading your music for free, and therefore very difficult to make a living and generate income from sales of your music too. I just don't see what can be done. I've considered it many times, as I'm sure everyone involved in the industry has. Perhaps something like the TV licensing fee on the internet, which again is only going to really probably cover the bigger bands rather than the small bands, because I just think it's impossible to police who's downloading what and when it's being downloaded.
I was intrigued by one of our guests talked about the dance community as opposed to the music industry. And I think that is really actually very, very right. And it is very much a dance community, and at the moment is very much based on trust. Processes, again, are very important for both, but particularly, I think, for dance. And that, for me, has come through our interviews. And the question is really whether the dance industry should become much more aware of its own rights. How might that change the dance community? Would it be a good thing to move it towards the music industry? Who knows?
The vast majority are not making a living. It's well known that virtually all creative work is what's called portfolio work. That is, people are shuffling a range of different income streams together in order to survive. And as time goes by, the chances of survival diminish. And if we were looking at it from the point of view of, are we wasting talent in the United Kingdom, the answer would be yes, we are, and we're not doing anything about it.